All praises, honor, glory, dominion, and power to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who rule well. And shalom to the hopeful Lakakim. Want to get into these food shortages that are sweeping across the globe as a result of this Russia-Ukraine conflict and how the implications are reaching far beyond what was predicted. All right, and it's all according to prophecy. We are steadily moving down on the timeline towards the end, and it is drawing nigh, closer than anybody could have ever expected. All right, and this is indeed thrusting the globe into World War III, undoubtedly, and it's inevitable for other effects to now cripple and fucking further decline in different industries. And here we have fucking the food shortages going into that famine. This is the Most High starving this place out. As I did a video a few days ago going into how this famine is a result of the filthiness and lewdness and wickedness of the people. All right? It's like quid pro quo, I believe. It's another word for like cause and effect, right? You're going to give something. What you give is what you're going to get. And when you sow nothing but wickedness and evil, and that's what the Most High is going to grant you. All right, this is Russia-Ukraine conflict could trigger global food shortages, and it already is. It already is. There's fucking certain items that you go to the grocery store. This is personal experience that you get that was readily available this entire fucking time, pretty much from youth to my entire life. Items that were available that are fucking are not being sold. And for example, you can't get it's hard to find hard-boiled eggs, man. All right? How is there a mass shortage on hard-boiled eggs everywhere you go? It's fucking crazy. You know, it's just a small example, right? So these implications are going to it's going to implicate all these different nations, man. Primarily America, because America is one of the primary nations on this planet that receives exports. All right. Shit is imported into this place. Not a lot is produced here. When you look at the percentages and shit, you know, of what is actually manufactured in America as opposed to what is manufactured outside of this country and imported in. All right, it's majority of the shit is produced and manufactured in other countries and imported into this bitch. So, you know, just like a whore, you know, she can't produce shit. She's only getting fucking cashed out by tricks. She's getting cashed out by tricks. It's like America. All right. Everyone's tricking off on America, but with all these sanctions and, you know, these halt and fucking different, embargoes and shit that have been implemented as a result of this conflict is fucking up the shelves in America. It says, in addition to COVID-related shortages, disruption to agricultural production in Russia and Ukraine because of Moscow's attack on its neighbor could seriously exacerbate global food insecurity. All right. It said in a statement on Friday, it was outlined how the two countries play a substantial role in the world's production and supply of foodstuffs. Russia is the world's largest exporter of wheat, and Ukraine is the fifth largest. Together, they provide 19% of the world's barley supply, 14% on wheat, and 4% of maize, making it up more than 1/3 of global cereal exports. Fuck. See? It says the two nations are also lead suppliers. Oh, Slovakia. Are lead suppliers of rapeseed and account for 52% of the world's sunflower oil export market, which is, you know how fucking widely used sunflower oil is in America, especially with all this, which has been revealed to be not a good fucking supplement to cook with, right? But here in this GMO fucking country, where health and wellness and the food and the diet is probably the worst in the planet, when it comes to regulations like allowing to put pure poison food on the market as it pertains to food. I mean, just for crying out loud, hot Cheetos and all the goddamn hot chips. That, look at that, that's fucking pure poison, man. And that's heavily circulated throughout America. Every nigga in Spick is eating hot chips. All right, but it's about to affect even their their grub. It says global fertilizer supply is also highly concentrated with Russia as the lead producer. It said the supply chain and logistical disruptions on Ukrainian and Russian grain and oilseed production, as well as restrictions on Russian exports, will have significant food security repercussions. Okay. Fuck. That was good on that, all right? So, these shelves are emptying out. These storehouses are beginning to appear empty, all right? There's a heavy decrease on the SKUs. SKU meaning like a part number, right? On the part number database that a certain store has, they only have maybe fucking 2/3 of that database of that whole comprised inventory of food. Okay, they might have fucking 3/4 or 2/3 or half of that total list of parts of food products that they have. They only have a small percentage of it, and you see it's actually declining. It's getting worse. So we're coming into a time of prophecy. This is 2 Edges 6:22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Okay, there you go. It's straight out the scriptures. So they're not able to produce those food products that they were able to in times of past because of this conflict. Because they're fighting. They're in battle right now in this invasion, right? So they can't produce what they used to. So that's the sown places where they're growing this grain and wheat, barley. There's a halt in that production. So those sown places are not being sown. That's why it's a cause and effect. It's a I forgot that other term, but it's a pretty much assembly line, if you will, Slovakia. But it's a cause and effect. If they're not able to grow the shit because they're over there fighting, then the storehouses won't get anything. All right, and then furthermore, you have these truckers with the fucking gas price from this conflict. The gas prices have soared. All right, so the cost to transport the food has greatly fucking spiked. So with that spike in cost to transport the food, there's going to be less transportation. There's going to be less delivery of food inventory to these different storehouses, man. And that's what you have here. Suddenly the sown places appear unsown, and then, but the effect of that is the storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And there you have that picture of those empty ass shelves, man. That's what America and these other fucking nations have to look forward to, up to the point where they're just completely empty and raided, like in that movie World War Z. And it won't take long before there's just gonna be, just a bloodbath in there. That's what happened. The shots were ringing out. We're flying and catching fucking stray fucking motherfuckers were catching strays, man. And it just ended up being a bloodbath. There's a shootout in a goddamn grocery store. It's gonna be a bloodbath, man. And that's what you had in that movie. Pretty soon, all the essentials were raided, and there were just dead bodies on the floor in that store, man. And that's what you have to look forward to in these fucking cities, because of your wickedness and your pride, and because it's the Most High. It's all according to His plan. It says in 2 Ezra 15:5, "Behold, saith Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, I'll bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." So these are in alignment with the plagues the Most High promised and vowed to bring and to befall upon the inhabitants of this world, man. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. We are indeed in the time of a global famine, global food shortages, and assembly line, slakia, that's the word, supply chain disruptions. All right? Because they can't, a motherfucker who's distributing the food cannot get supplied with the food if it's not being produced. It's all in line according to a supply chain, okay? And the Most High is throwing a wrench into that. To what? To further cripple and destroy this fucking place. All right? Finishing off. This is what time we're in. 2 Ezra 7:43. "But the day of doom shall be the end of this time." All right? We are in the end of this era, of this world. All right? This is a massive fucking deal. This is not just an end to a kingdom, an end to an age, an end to an empire. This is an end to an entire world. This is an end to a time that was since the creation of mankind. All right? We're coming into the end of that, and we're coming into the commencement of a whole nother world, man. A whole nother life. All right? That's why when they say the end of the world, you bet your goddamn dollar this is the end of the world. It's what's known as the end of Esau's world and the beginning of Jacob that followeth, which we know to be eternal. You can read that in Isaiah 14:1 as well. What kind of structure it's going to be on the planet when this fucking thing is wrapped up. It says, "The day of doom shall be the end of this time." We're in the day of doom, man. Doom and gloom. Bad fucking times. Evil. All right? Mourning and heartache and pain. And it's only going to escalate and increase by way of turmoil. All right? But the end is going to follow up with eternity, with what is going to be for the rest of existence. It says, "And the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past." All right, and that's why the men of the Lord are so fucking stoked and turned up in this day, because we're witnessing the end of the world, man. At the beginning of fucking eternal paradise. That's why we're fucking elated, man. Words can't describe how excited the men of Yahweh Shai are to finally witness the end and all that entails. My God, the end of our enemies. Says that there's one of the greatest things that a man could ever experience is the fall of his enemies. All right, the uplifting of our nation, the hearts of flesh, the heart continually and staunchly and really programmed to the Heavenly Father. That's that corruption that is gonna cease, and immortality. That's why the men of the Lord are fucking stoked this time, because we're at the end, and the Most High is about to make His grand entrance, and has, like it says in 2 Edges 9, in the form of these calamities, man. He is visiting the world in which He made. All right, all praises for that. So with that, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashir B'Yahweh Ba'ashir Mukakadash, Brakateh Yahweh, Brakateh Yahweh Shai. Shalom.